An award-winning stand-up, a novelist and a grumpy old woman. But that didn't stop her bringing some much-needed humour to the most recent series of I'm a Celebrity. And while some fainted, others screamed, this lady took to the trials like ducks to water, finishing in a most respectable third place. Please welcome Jenny Eclair!
I haven't seen any of that. No, I knew it would upset me because the sight of me in shorts, I looked so much like my father. And even when I was there in the jungle and I'd pull these Ransdale shorts and there'd be a voice in my head going, you should really put some long trousers on, Jenny. But there's another voice in my head going, gah!
Jenny, though, I thought there must be somebody else called Jenny Eclair because I thought it can't be Jenny Eclair. You in the jungle? It didn't make sense.
I know, it wasn't right, was it?
No, it wasn't right.
A very odd thing. There are reasons why I went, one of which was I'd just lost a very dear friend and I was in a sort of odd state. And I wasn't meant to go. I didn't know I was going. I was in the bath and I was weeping in the bath. And my agent phoned and said, is your passport up to date? And I thought, where am I going? Where am I going? And he said they might need you in Australia. They thought Gillian was going to walk, you see. Right. So I was flown over there and then they thought, well, why waste the fare? Yeah. You know, shove the old biddy in and see what she can do.
But you seem to enjoy it.
Well, the word enjoyment isn't quite right. I put up. I'm sort of old army, you know, my dad's an army officer.
Yeah.
And I
sort of get on with it.
Yeah, a little bit of just get on with it.
And I felt that when you first went in, I thought you wanted to go in and stir things up a bit because you kept saying, oh, come on, let's wind them up. But then, and I thought, is she going to be, am I going to like her or not like her because she's going to be a troublemaker? But you went the other way. You were fabulous.
That became quite reasonable.
You did?
Yes, how odd. But you know what? There isn't any booze. So I think
is that the real Jenny that we saw in the jungle?
I suppose so, because I can't keep it up. I can't fake it that long. I was quite calm, but there were moments of resentment. I know that I did have to go away and bite pieces of wood.
Did you learn anything about yourself while you were in there?
I refused to go on an emotional journey. They kept trying to say, they kept trying to force me to say, oh, my journey, and I just wouldn't.
I thought, I mean, you ate the trials, you ate all those things without so much of a...
Starving, love, I was starving. You know, to be quite honest with you, I'd have kangaroo anus over turkey any day for Christmas Day. If they did it in Sainsbury's, I would very much. Oh, yes.
And did you feel like you were doing your bit for the older woman?
For the older woman. I didn't really think of it like that, particularly. But I did get cross with certain people that wouldn't take responsibility for their actions. I don't mind anybody behaving terribly badly. I've behaved appallingly in my past. I've done some dreadful things. But I'm quite good at saying, I'm really sorry. I've done this. I'm a bad, bad woman. Please forgive me. I'm a snivelling coward or I've done whatever. But I don't like when people sort of... don't take responsibility and can't own up to what they've done.
And obviously you were the creator of Grumpy Old Women.
Co-creator of the live shows.
Did it come about because you were frustrated at the sort of roles or the parts that women were being offered on TV or the presence that they had?
The Grumpy shows, they were an opportunity because the Grumpy television shows had done very well indeed. And so, you know, I'm not daft. There's a bit of me thinking there's an audience out there. There's a brigade of women. There is an enormous... What is very nice, and people forget that there are some perks to being 50. I mean, there's some terrible things as well. But women start to be quite nice to each other. There's this kind... We go back to school mentally, and instead of bitching and sniping and competing with each other, it's like being back at school where everyone has actually genuinely been quite nice and supportive. And you see that in supermarkets sometimes. You watch people and you have the sympathetic nod, you know, especially at Christmas when you've got your trolley full and you know, all that, and you have middle-aged women going, at each other. There's a sympathy that I do think we share more with age, because we're all more in the same boat.
Do you think, though, I mean, is one of the good things that you've become wiser? And do you give that wise stuff like I try to?
Yeah, the wise old woman.
Yeah, the wise old woman.
Well, you hope to, but there's also that 6-year-old inside you that never really goes away, that's capable of just getting hysterical and sobbing and all that kind of thing. So I think we're all a real funny mix, aren't we? You never really grow up.
And that's what came over with you because you know people know she was a stand-up and Grumpy Old Woman, and on the Jungle they all went, so that's the real Jenny.
What was very odd was that I now have got this useless fan base of 9 to 12-year-old boys. Now, I have never been big. Well, I don't know, but for some reason, they like me. And, you know, so I've got all these boys, and none of them are old enough to buy me a drink. They can't come see the show. It's completely hopeless. But they are the ones in the street who are getting terribly excited, and sort of asking their mums to ask me for an autograph.
A fan is a fan is a fan is a fan.
Well,
just enjoy it.
Yes.
Well, you're going to be staying with us for a wee while longer.
No problem.
But it is time for one last break. You're still with us?
Yes! I'm going nowhere.
So, you know, you're back from the jungle. What are you up to now?
Well, I'm back on the road. I'm on tour, and it's easy to find out. You just Google me, and then dates come up, or you Google your website, and it's all there. Can't remember anything. But I know there's one in Salisbury soon, and they're all over the country. You can't really avoid me. And that's nice. It's nice to resume the tour because it was tourist interruptus by the jungle.
And this is the Old Dog New Tricks tour?
Yes, it is. It is. There is a trick at the beginning which I'm not going to divulge.
So it's just you?
It's just me, yes.
Being you.
Yes, it's a lot about the sort of flip side to being 50, I suppose. You know, the odd side effects, which are many and various. And obviously, it's very difficult for me to describe what I do on stage without contravening any of your laws and getting you taken off air. So it is tricky, but because there is language and there is showing off. And
Do you like lonely doing
no,
everything on your own?
no, because there's people in the audience. Hopefully, that would be
but
really
I mean,
lonely.
on stage and the travelling and...
Well, I have a driver come director, technician who, you know, is used to me, and I do burble on. I've got an iPad, and, you know, I've got all my tricks, and I've got all sorts of things I can play with. And
Do you have men?
Yeah.
Men in the audience, yes, and I always say that I'm sort of sponsored by Relate, because it's very good for men to come see me, because after they've spent an hour and a half with me, you know, they're that much more fond of their partners. They sort of leave the theatre with their woman that much closer, stroking her hair, whispering sweet nothings into her ear. At least you're not her. At least you're not her.
But do you think they really like you, though? Because they've obviously come with their partners.
Yeah, they're the designated drivers. They always are dragged in, sort of kicking and screaming.
Yeah.
You can see the tension on the face, and they're the ones that have to give, you know, the lady and usually 4 of her slightly drunk mates. You know, they're stuck in some car, and there's a big whiff of Chardonnay, and all these women, cackling women, and so it's tough for them.
Do you think it's educational for them, though? Because we get that sometimes here. You can spot the men in the audience and being dragged. They're normally sitting like that, you know. But there's something really gratifying about seeing the shoulders starting to move halfway through.
I like a chubby chuckler. I like to look out and see men enjoying themselves. I really do. It's
They don't heckle you, then?
No, not much. I
Not
don't.
brave enough.
I'm quite deaf anyway, so if anybody wants to heckle, they've got to write it down on a note and leave it at the side of the stage. I'll deal with it
in
then.
very large print.
Yes, yes.
No, we were talking earlier as well about, you know, treating men like children. What's your take on that with your lovely Jeff?
No, I was on your side on that one, because my bloke is 62, and if I start treating him like a child, it's not going to be very much time till he is dribbling banana, and and I am spoon-feeding. I don't want it to start too early, you know. And I don't know what these treats... What are the treats meant to be? It's meant to be, you know, Katy Perry will be doing a pole dance. I'll be chucking them Werther's original. You know, good boy, good boy. You know.
Oh, no, because my Steve likes cheese, so I might say, if you're very, very good, you can have a bit of Stilton.
Yeah. Or, you know, if you're really treating him like a child, it'd be a Dairy Lee triangle, wouldn't it? But, you know, obviously he'd expect to eat it off your nipples or something. I don't want... No, it puts pressure on us. But, you know, occasionally you do think, oh, no, you should go and sit on the naughty step now. You know.
So what about your man? Now, you see, I said that, you know, if you give them a bit of the other, they might put the bins out. Did you put the bins out without the other?
Well, I think...
Well, you never know.
I think we're just as lazy about sex and domestic stuff. You know, I think women do occasionally go, oh, sex, it's a bit like making your own pastry.
Occasionally.
You know you should, but you're not sure if you can be bothered. It's one of those, you know. We can get that, roll it out, you know. Ready, done.
So in your corner.
Yeah. I do. I mean, I'm sure there are women that lie back and think of a new kitchen.
Of course.
The kitchens are very, very, very expensive, so I think you do have to do quite a lot for a new kitchen.
I got some lovely garden furniture out of it.
Yeah. You know, so there are different types of sets. If you're only doing enough to get the bins taken out...
But not a swimming...
That's a quickie.
swimming pool, though.
But I think if you're wanting a swimming pool, garden furniture and a new kitchen...
Then you've got to go for it.
Really,
A lot of...
there's lingerie involved in that, isn't there? There's proper tricks.
Lots of Dairylea triangles.
I'd rather, to be honest with you, I'd rather go without. What about, we were talking about the lying next to the beach body on the beach. Are you...
Well, I'm fortunate. As I say, you know, he's a lot older than me, so he should be very grateful to be with me. It's one of the tricks. It's one of the tricks. You know, when you're young and you think, oh, older man, aren't I clever? Yeah. He's got a car, he's got a flat, he can tie his own shoelaces. Oh, it's a grown-up. And then sort of 30 years down the line, you know, he's turned into a human Toby jug. With fur-lined nostrils, but I love him to pieces. And the thing is, neither of us look great on the beach. The only beaches we look good on are pebble beaches in the middle of winter. You know, both of us are better in a cagoule. A cagoule, yes. You know,
with a windbreaker.
The worst thing in the world is the two of us, you know, there. Actually, we're only good if we bury ourselves up to the neck in sand. You know, that's the answer, isn't it?
No, but in the jungle, you know, you got...
I got my father's legs out.
You got your body out, didn't you?
Did you wear a bikini? I can't remember.
I do, of course, I didn't wear a bikini, you silly girl.
Jenny, I was waiting for the shower scene.
Yes,
we were waiting.
That was the funniest thing, that there was a shower and a pool, and the weather was so awful. The only two people that braved the pool were me and Alison, and you could hear the cameramen going, oh, for heaven's sake. You know, where is the swimwear model when you need... There's me and Alison marching down. You know, come on, let's have a good swim. You know, swimming for exercise, not to flaunt our swimwear range.
Throwing your clothes and saying, put your clothes on, for God's sake.
Jenny, it's been fabulous. It's
Jenny, it's always a pleasure. Thank you very much.